Does your child or student have an IEP or need one? Then you've come to the right place. If they have special education, then your child or student probably has accommodations, modifications, or both on their IEP. So in this video, I'm taking you behind the scenes of the most frequently misunderstood educational tools. Specifically, I'm going to show you what they are and walk you through those 4 key differences so you can advocate for your child or student to get the best IEP. What's up? I'm April Rarig, your special education advocate to make IEPs and 504 plans so much easier. If you're new here, go ahead and click on that subscribe button and make sure to follow us on Instagram at RiseEdAdvocacy. Here's what you need to know about IEPs. Individual education plans are regulated under IDA law. The problem is parents aren't told what to ask for and how to get it when they come to an IEP meeting. That's exactly why I'm so excited that you're watching this video, because the truth is, pro tip, inside your child's IEP, the accommodations and modifications are one of the most important parts because they talk about the how-tos and the what-ifs and all the things that your child needs to do in order to achieve the goals that your IEP committee has recommended and to get a free, appropriate public education. So inside this video, I'm going to lay out what is an accommodation, what is a modification, and those 4 key differences that you need to know. Make sure to keep watching this video throughout the very end, where I'm going to reveal all my tips and resources so you can walk into your next meeting and have it so much better. Here's what you need to know about accommodations. First of all, what is an accommodation? An accommodation adjusts how a student is instructed or assessed. The problem with special education is, pro tip, when it comes to understanding accommodations, there's so much misunderstanding. Case in point, another pro tip. Your child's teacher can give accommodations without an IEP or a 504 plan. Did you know that? The truth is, another pro tip is that in order to require your child's teacher to implement an accommodation on their IEP or a 504 plan, it needs to be written inside the plan so that they have to do it. So make sure to keep watching this video because I'm going to reveal all my tips and strategies. Case in point, when it comes to setting up an accommodation, if you've been to your child's IEP before, then you know there's a lot of talk when it comes to prompting and cueing. The problem is you need your team to specify with you what that looks like, specifically when it comes to what type of prompting, what is the hierarchy, what's the level of independence, all this stuff. To give you everything that you need, make sure to check out our free guide called The Prompt Hierarchy. Inside the guide, it lays out exactly all the different types of prompting, what it looks like, making sure that your prompt in your child doesn't become prompt dependent, and laying out all the information so that you can advocate like a pro. Make sure to check out the link in the description for a free guide. So now we've talked about what is an accommodation, it's time to dive into what is a modification. In a nutshell, a modification changes what a student is taught or expected to learn. The problem with modifications, pro tip, is that if you have them written on your child's or student's IEP, this can mean really big changes when it comes to graduating with your non-disabled peers, getting a high school diploma, taking college prep courses, or maybe getting an alternate curriculum. This can mean really big changes. So that's exactly why I'm so glad that you watched this video. Now, if you're a parent, you're probably watching this video saying, oh my gosh, I have an IEP meeting coming up. I need to know what to bring to the meeting because like we talked about before, unless you know what to ask for and how to get it on your child's IEP, those meetings can mean really big changes for your child. So I've got this thing called a meeting day checklist that lays out the 5 things that you need to bring to every single IEP meeting, and I use with my families all the time, and it will make your meeting so much easier and give you everything that you need to walk in the door feeling fully prepped. Make sure to check for the link below for a free guide. Okay, so now you know what is an accommodation, what is a modification. Now it's time to dive into those 4 key differences. Ready? Here we go. Number 1, with an accommodation, your child's achievement is going to be with the same standard, but a varied outcome. What does this mean? This means your child's achievement is going to be compared with their non-disabled peers. With a modification, your child is going to have different standards or learning environments. What does this mean? This means your child's achievement is not compared to their non-disabled peers. Number 2, with an accommodation, the focus is on removing barriers in order to achieve mastery. With a modification, the focus is on progress towards mastery. So case in point, pro tip, if your child has different standards, different expectations, and a different curriculum level that they're working on with all the other kids in the class, then more than likely, that's definitely a modification. Number 3, with an accommodation, they help to align with access, equity, and level the playing field. With a modification, it's going to align with your child's modified goals or alternate assessments. And number 4, with an accommodation, they do not change what it's taught, meaning your child is expected to have the same standards as all their non-disabled peers, meaning on the report card, they're going to be expected to do the same grade level as everyone else. With a modification, your child's tests or assessments are going to be adapted, meaning when it comes to grading, your child is going to be on a separate or alternate curriculum. Okay, so now we've just talked about the 4 key differences when it comes to accommodations and modifications, and you're probably like, oh, that was a lot of information. So I've got a free guide called the Accommodations versus Modifications Checklist. It lays out all the information of what I just told you with side-by-side comparisons. It's also my favorite resource that I recommend with all my families and we bring to every single IEP meeting. So make sure to grab it in the link in the description below for a free guide. So now we've talked about accommodations, modifications, and those 4 key differences that you need to know about. But let's focus on accommodations for just a minute because a majority of families that I work with focus mostly on accommodations. So when it comes down to what to know to ask for and how to get it, whether your child has an IEP or a 504 plan, knowing the different types of accommodations, because pro tip, there are 4 different types and the examples of accommodations, there's so much more. So make sure to check out our YouTube video, IEP and 504 accommodations Know This, that lays out all the information and digs deep into accommodations. Grab it in the link below to watch our next video. Now it's time to talk about the elephant in the room. Where do accommodations and modifications hide inside the IEP? The truth of the matter is, pro tip, unless you know what's inside your IEP, specifically all the different parts and what they look like, it's super hard to advocate. So I'll give you a really quick snippet and then I'm going to give you a resource that's going to really dig in deep. So where do you want to find accommodations and modifications in the IEP? pro tip, it can be in a lot of places. You're going to want to see accommodations and modifications in the present levels of academic achievement and functional performance, also known as PLOF. You're also going to see accommodations and modifications inside the IEP goals. You can also see accommodations and modifications inside what's called supplementary aids and services, also known as SAS. You can also see accommodations and modifications inside your child's special education assessment. Yep, that's exactly where it's supposed to come from, because the truth is accommodations and modifications come from need, not what's called a standards fare in special education services. So to give you everything that you need, I've got this course called the Do-It-Yourself IEP Workshop. It lays out all the different parts of an IEP, goes and digs in deep so that you know exactly where to find the accommodations and modifications. It also gives you tons of videos and how-to guides and walkthroughs and templates so that you can walk into your next meeting feeling so much better and you know exactly what to ask for and how to get it. Make sure to check in the link below for our workshop and guides. So now you know what is an accommodation, what is a modification, and those 4 key differences so that you understand so much better what you need to do for your child or student. Here's the challenge. Now that you have all this information, how do you want to advocate differently? It's a really good challenge. Got a question? Make sure to type it in the comments below. Want me to do another video? Yep, I can do that too. Check in the links in the description box below for our guides and workshops and all the resources. Make sure to like and subscribe us to help other families find more information just like I've given with you today. And make sure to follow us on Instagram at Rise Ed Advocacy. I'm April Rarig, your special education advocate. I can't wait to see you for our next video.